Hey everybody, Greg Poole here at Bojunkie Media, bojunkie.com. You're dang right. It's another podcast. Look at that. I told you so, and it happened. Call me podcast a no? Yeah, whatever. Just listen, give me your feedback, and we'll just be good. So anyway, before we get started today, you guys know the drill. We want to thank the folks that make this possible, and that is AAE, Kafaru International, PSE, Bomar Archery, Matthews Archery. Great to have them back on board. True Ball. Great to have True Ball back on board. The Summers family, some of the best folks out there. Martin Archery, Gas Bowstrings, Easton Arrows, Feather Vision, SWAT Broadheads, and Obsession Bows. And so for those of you that listened to the podcast I did however many days ago with Aaron Snyder, it had to do with lifestyle events. And it was lifestyle events, not necessarily versus from a competitive standpoint, but a comparison, a discussion, talking about lifestyle events versus competitive archery events. Pretty much everybody knows what a competitive event is. If you don't know what a competitive event is or what a competition is, I guess go find a round room and stand in the corner. It's a competition. However, a lifestyle event, and that's just a word that I coined. I don't know if it actually applies properly or whatever. But basically, by lifestyle events, we're talking about events that scoring is optional. You're hiking. Don't expect spectacularly cut stairs and steps and handholds. No, you're going out there with a hydro pack, a backpack, generally in some form of camo, and you're taking your hunting bow, and you're shooting crazy shots. So scoring is just not necessarily a thing. Those events generally have a festival-type atmosphere, lots of booth vendors, elephant ears, throwing axes, concerts, some form of entertainment. So that's why I say a lifestyle event. And so today's guest, of course, is the gentleman who is partly responsible for starting the OPA, and they have partnered. I'm not sure what exactly the partnership's like, nor do I really care. That's their business. But the OPA has partnered with Bowfest, which is a lifestyle event. And so in that podcast with Aaron, you heard me referencing Bowfest and OPA as kind of the best of both worlds, kind of the only one right now that I'm aware of. Now, that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean there's not another one out there. So if you have some other lifestyle event with a competitive aspect, you can send me hate mail. It's whatever. But they're the only national one that I'm aware of that has the lifestyle event and a highly competitive archery event integrated into one. Now, before you go not interested, the lifestyle event shooters are not shooting against the competitive shooters, so don't get it twisted. If you go to Bowfest for the Bowfest shooting and the festivities, you have your own ranges, your own thing. The OPA folks have their own ranges, their own thing, and then you commingle throughout the day and at night. So you're not shooting against each other, so that part is fine. But I wanted to get this gentleman on the podcast today because, that conversation is timely, as is the fact that the OPA and Bowfest are coming up July 22nd through the 25th. Bojunkie, of course, will be there in all of our archery glory. But the conversation seemed like it was a good time. Wanted to catch up with today's guest and kind of see what's going on out there in Wisconsin. So help me welcome Mr. Mike Pollard to the podcast. What's going on, man?
How's it going?
Oh, it's fine as frog hair. What do you got going on these days?
Oh, just was relaxing this last week. Had the 4th off and went up to the campground and flung some sand, watched some fireworks, and ate good. And now I'm back home.
There you go. And for those of you wondering, if you've ever seen the HNRA or whatever it is, where they got the nitro fuel dragsters that go from like 0 to 300 in 4.0 seconds, Mike kind of does that with razors, the little 4-wheel buggies. His are redonkulous. They're not for the faint of heart. His are race buggies. Don't even get it twisted. So when he says flinging dirt, he's not joking. Hundreds of feet flinging dirt, or sand, I should say, not necessarily dirt. But anyway, that's good.
Sometimes dirt.
Yeah, right. So glad you guys had a good Independence Day. So not sure if you got to listen to the podcast the other day with Aaron, but all of this is, like I said in the intro, very, very timely because your event's coming up. Your event, of course, was heavily on my mind as I'd been thinking about this for a very, very long time, and kind of how we can, when I say we, I'm referring to the entire archery world, but how we can learn from one to benefit the other, and that goes both ways. And so, first of all, let's just kind of talk about the events, see how things are going this year, with BowFest and the OPA, and let's just kind of talk about what's going to be happening here in not very long.
Well, so far everything is, I would say, up to par and in order, and everything's on track to be done before people arrive. And actually, Mark DeLillo, who does the BowFest, most of the BowFest setting up and trimming, cutting lanes, he's up there a solid month prior to opening day. Wow. And he stays up there. Mark actually also takes care of Larry's farms in Iowa. So when farming gets a little slow, he comes up there for a month and sets all those courses up by himself. And then as far as OPA, I'll be there. I think it's the 15th of this month, Thursday of this month. So next week. Nice. And I'll go up there, and then the Virginia boys that have helped me since day one set up, they fly in Sunday, and we'll work those 4 days and get all that stuff done. And yeah, everything's looking good.
Nice. Now, this event, for those of you that may or may not have some history with OPA familiarity, this event is hosted, I should say, on Mont de Lac, which is in Superior, Wisconsin. They've been there for a couple years now. They didn't start there, but obviously the partnership with BowFest made it a no-brainer to have it on site. So talk a little bit about Mont de Lac and kind of, I'm saying that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about, what that facility is. I mean, I've mentioned a couple times it's a ski resort type thing, but kind of talk about its location, kind of what some of the amenities are there as far as housing, food, obviously entertainment and all that as we get closer to the event.
Oh, that's you should have prepared me a little bit for that, because I could go on all day with the amenities that are there. The only thing that I would say that we're lacking right now would be rooms and staying on site. But you can expect they added several things. So last year we were rushing around to put in a sight-in range in. That is done and grassed and rocked and flat padded. So you don't have to worry about sighting in on a uphill or incline or down. I mean, it's all flat.
Oh, nice.
So you got that new. It is a ski. Mont de Lac is a ski resort. And when I say resort, it's totally different. One, it's privately owned, so it's not a huge corporate. So the owner actually lives there on the land, right. And he has several cabins that you can rent out. Those typically are booked in advance, 2 years to 3 years in advance.
Wow.
So that's really hard to get into. But as far as the camping, usually that's close to 1 year in advance, maybe not. I would say if you plan on wanting to stay on site, you would have to book it before you left this year, of any sort. But they have an RV park right when you drive in. They have an RV park with a man-made pond that is taken care of. And he has this huge, I don't even know what to call it. Well, it's called the Big Kahuna.
Right. And
it's like this tune thing that you can climb up on, and has slides, a diving board, a swing on it. But anyways, it's very popular. You typically, even on weekdays, you'll see lots of kids out on that thing all day, every day long in the summer. They just put a bar in down there, so it's like a little beach oasis.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So you can rent jet skis, you can rent golf carts, you can rent cabins. In the winter, you can ski. They just opened up tubing down the river, so it's like a float. They pull you out to the river. Yes, they have access to the river. So they pull you out to the river and let you go, and you float downriver. And then you stop at a landing, and a certain landing, and they pick you up. So they have those. They have tubing slides. So it's all season tubing slides, and disc golfing, which they're continuously working on. They're expanding that tremendously.
Right.
Getting that prepared for hopefully to host a big tournament there for disc golfing. But yeah, I could go on all day with what they got going on there.
Sure. Now, Mike said something at the beginning of that where he said, if you can't stay on site, we don't stay on site. We actually stay in town at a hotel, and in town is literally like 15, 20 minutes. It's not very far.
Yeah, it's not far.
So yeah. No. So when Mike says, if you can't stay on site, that doesn't mean you're an hour away. I mean, you could if you wanted, I guess, but we stayed in town, and it was literally 15, 20 minutes. It was not a bad drive. Traffic, other than when that house was on fire in the little town there. Traffic was not an issue. Getting in and out of the event was not an issue, and so that was one thing that I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, and that is the interactive part of parking, of catching rides, of shuttles, of all of that. Now, for the Bowfest shooters, they're not necessarily on a clock. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it is, you sign up and you could shoot in between these times, between these days. I mean, it's fairly wide open. It's not very well scheduled, which is a good thing.
Sure.
If you're not feeling it that morning and you want to go out and wait for the heat to go down, then you and your buddy could. You could go out there in the afternoon at 4:00 and go shoot the range until dark. We have people coming off the range at dark.
Right.
For Bowfest. But it's exactly what you said. You got hydro packs, playing on a good day out on those ranges. A lot of people do. Sometimes they'll shoot ranges all day long, go back, get some sleep, come back out. So yeah.
Nice. Now, so what can someone, whether it's a Bowfest participant or an OPA participant, space is limited. I'm just going to throw that out there. Last year, and hopefully we can get us some numbers this year. We just kind of put this podcast together last minute, so I'm not sure Mike had enough time to gather all the data I asked him to, which is fine. I asked last minute, so that's on me. But look, space is limited. This is not the ski resort in Park City, Utah, where they held the Olympics. There's limited space here. So I know last year in 2020, right in the middle of the Bona, you guys had the event successfully. It went off without a hitch. And I believe last year, even in the middle of the Bona, you guys ran 1,800 people through the Bowfest portion. Is that about right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So,
and I know that number right now is over 10% than last year.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I do know that. We're about the same as far as OPA being about the same as 2020 right now. So
okay.
But typical archers, we wait until about a week before, and then we register. So
absolutely.
That doesn't scare me. It's been that way since day one.
Right.
But, yeah, space is limited. And we hope to fill it.
So what can an archer, whether it's a Bowfest archer or an OPA archer, what can they expect when they arrive at Bowfest, or when they arrive at Mont du Lac, I should say, as far as transportation, shuttles, parking, with the limited availability? It's not like everybody gets to pull up to the lodge and park. That's just not how it works. So kind of explain what someone might expect. And the reason I ask that question, Mike, is time. If you're Jesse Broadwater and you're used to showing up 2.5 minutes before start time, might not be the event to do that in, because if you're showing up that late, parking's going to be full. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I ask.
So we actually don't have on-site parking unless you buy a certain parking pass. So they can purchase those parking passes. However, the price goes like pretty much, if it's one car, yeah, it kind of stinks to have to pay that. But if typically archers, we all try to go together, and there's usually 4 to 6 of us in a vehicle, just depending on what kind of vehicle, and then we split that. But as far as parking, we have off-site parking, that we have shuttles running. I think it's every 15 or 30 minutes. Please don't quote me on that. Go on bowfest.com, and there's more to explain there. But yeah, so there's off-site parking, which a lot of people, I would say 90% of the participants, that's where they park, off-site parking. And then you could park at the lodge. However, it is a parking pass that you buy online, and I believe those are close to being sold out.
Okay. Gotcha. So that there is multiple options as far as what someone's going to be able to do if they want to buy what's the parking pass called? Premier, the Favorite, the OGs. I mean, what's the verbiage?
They have a VIP parking pass, which is $100.
Okay.
And that's for the entire event. So if you were to park somewhere else and you divided that, it's $25 a day.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have a preferred, which that is very new to me. I did not know anything about the preferred until I learned that from Jesse.
Okay.
Pun intended.
All right.
But I'm just joking, Jesse. Anyways, and that is $200. But there's something that I have not told you yet, and that is the Bow Fest this year. We call it the Big Bow Fest now because it's actually 10 days.
Holy crap!
So it opens next weekend, the weekend before everyone gets there. And we decided on that last year, and because not everybody wants to come during the prime concerts and so in the shoot off. So yes, I would say the 21st. What is it, 21st? Am I saying that right? I don't want to click off here and then delete you. I can't look at my calendar. But
that's all right. So
anyways,
so the 21st is Wednesday.
Yeah, so the 23rd and 25th, 23rd and 24th, 25th, that weekend is very packed. We plan on that being packed, and that's when the OPA is going on. That's when the OPA shoot off. That's when we have Travis Tritt. So our bigger names are that weekend. So yes, that's going to be more of the big weekend for us.
Gotcha. So let me ask this, and I'm completely ignorant on this, and like I explained on the other podcast, when I'm there, I don't get to come up for air much, so I don't necessarily get to partake in the Bowfest side a whole lot. But from the cost of someone who is shooting the OPA versus and look, let's just be honest, Jesse Broadwater's not staying 8 days to do Bowfest. We know this, but how do the entry fees for obviously the Bowfest entry fee doesn't really have anything to do with OPA, but so it's more of an OPA versus Bowfest thing. But how does the entry fee for OPA transition over to being able to participate or consume Bowfest activities?
So what we do is the pros pay $500. That is their entry fee, and including that entry fee, their practice is also in there to go shoot the Bowfest courses for practice. The Bowfest courses aren't for the faint of heart; they are very tough.
Right.
But a lot of people took advantage of that last year.
Yes, they did.
And they were like, "Holy smokes, that was tough." Could you imagine?
Right.
The OPA being on this course? I was like, no. Some people shot under, and which I would never expected. But anyways, that is included in their purchase. Now, as far as the bow hunter and open amateur classes, you buy a Bowfest pass along with your registration.
Gotcha.
For OPA.
Okay.
So, and right off the top of my head, I can't remember what that is because it just went up July 1st.
Gotcha. From the looks of it,
So
it
they
looks
do-
like it's
they-
$149.99 if you want
Yep.
a Bowfest pass from the. Well, on here it says July 22nd to July 25th, but so obviously it's not been updated to reflect the longer time frame. But it says $149.99, which is in line with pretty much all the other lifestyle events.
Yeah. So you purchase one of those, you get all the courses, you purchase your OPA registration on top of that, and come sling some arrows, win some money.
There you go. So let's talk about my personal number one requirement at any of these events, and that's food. Yeah, right. I don't miss many meals, and I know
we
you
have plenty.
I know you don't miss many meals either, Mike. So we're in the same ballpark here. So talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know some of the some events, and folks, there is, because I did come out last year early, so I was able to go ride a buggy back into the Bowfest courses, and there is eat shacks, and there is availability on the Bowfest courses for food and beverage. Now, they weren't open when I was there, so I can't tell you if it's burgers and dogs and drinks and candy bars or lobster and shrimp. I can't tell you. If you've met Larry, the lobster and shrimp joke might not always be a joke. But but there is availability for food and beverage on the Bowfest course, and we will discuss the OPA courses here in a minute. But talk a little bit about once someone's done shooting and they get down to the lodge and the vendor food area, what sort of food and whatnot that they might expect.
So it's actually pretty cool. Larry has it with his ideas. Rick McCurley, Bridget Duffy, and Mark DeLillo, Mike O'Hara, Hunter Anderson, all those people at MDL do a wonderful job. They want people to feel comfortable, not have to go very far. Yes, they want the courses to be insane. So yes, they are. And it's a hike. So be prepared. But they do have drinks, burgers, dogs, no lobster, no shrimp. But it would not surprise me.
Right.
Chips. They do have a beverage area, adult beverage area, plenty of stuff to do. They have 2 restaurants on site. I want to say that there is 10 different food trucks.
Nice. Excellent.
So, and we switched the vendor sponsorship area around, so now it's in the bigger parking lot, which is going to be awesome. I mean, we got it a little bit more spread out. It'll be good.
Right.
I'll be ecstatic to see it laid out.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, last year with the Bona and all that, you guys were having to deal with last minute cancellations and all that drama about. So totally understandable where it was last year. You're right. It was a little cramped last year. People were driving through. But hey, look, like I told everybody last year, just the fact that the OPA and Bowfest happened last year was a huge win. Was it on 100% of what Mike and Larry and everybody there wanted to do? Well, no. So that's what they build for now. And now that we've kind of moved past all that tomfoolery, now they can get things back, because it's not if I'm not mistaken, you guys were going to have the vendor booths down below last year, but because of all the turmoil, you just kind of moved it up top, right?
Yeah. And, there was a lot of COVID restrictions that we had to go through. That's funny that you say that, because I don't know how you would have assumed that we were trying to run around with our chicken, like our heads were cut off. Sorry, I messed that all up. But, it was just a lot of people don't put that into effect of the work that goes into it. And COVID really, that was really damaging. I mean, not just to us, but to everyone. And we, regardless of the situation, we wanted to make sure that we had the event. And without saying too much, Larry went on extreme lengths to even have that event. I mean, I wish I could just blurt it out, but
I do.
And it was just a lot of work. And so last year we weren't able to do it down there, and we crammed everybody up top. And I can tell you this is the OPA 6th year. This is the BowFest 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
And every year we're going to learn. It's not just going to, like I told Levi when we started this thing, I was like, man, probably year 10 we'll get the hang of it.
Right. Exactly.
And, that's a long investment.
Right. It is. And for those of you that are wondering about the music, because obviously he mentioned Travis Tritt, so I pulled up the schedule here. So Friday, July 16th is Leather and Lace. This is Saturday, July 17th, Kenny Chesney.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Those are
I see. Tribute artists.
Yeah. Kenny Chesney tribute artists.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but hold on. Yes, we are actually having real Travis Tritt. Yes, he's going to be there.
Yes. Okay. Right. And so I'm as I'm working my way now that I see it, but he did a good job on his pictures. And so, yes. So it's a Kenny Chesney tribute artist. Kenny won't actually be there himself.
No.
Thursday, July 22nd is Ben and Noel Haggard, a tribute to Merle Haggard, which I'm assuming that they are related to in some way, shape, or fashion. And then, of course, the big dog rolls in Friday, July 23rd, Travis Tritt. And then Saturday, July 24th is Snake Oil. I'm not sure Icons of Rock. Oh, that's probably going to be pretty banging.
That they are very good. If you haven't looked them up on YouTube, they draw a big crowd. I think it'll be amazing. Last year we had Hairball. I don't know if you remember that, but that was probably, I've been to a lot of concerts. That had to have been the most insane concert I've ever been to. Look them up, Hairball. They had like 10 different outfit changes.
Jeez Louise.
Never a dull moment.
Right.
One would come out. It was insane. But anyways, This year should be better. And we're excited about it.
Awesome. So that basically, just to give you guys an idea, one last thing, BowFest archers, they're not required to keep score, correct? That is purely for the fun of it.
Correct.
Okay, and so
they can, because we have some good prizes. So if they turn their scorecard in, even if it's not filled out and just has their name on it and their information.
Right.
They'll return it at the return scorecard booth there. That'll be in the vendor area next to Bow Junkie.
Right.
So you have to go by them before you hit us, but we're right next to them.
Right.
I believe those are in spots 35, 36, and 37. And so if they drop them off there, then we have bows to give away. We have target. We have a bunch of stuff.
So basically, whether you fill out your scorecard or not, if you turn in your scorecard, you're basically entered for a raffle.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. So so that's what I mean, folks, about the lifestyle portion, and that's BowFest. Obviously, it's a much different vibe than what we're kind of going to transition to right now, which is the OPA. And so that once we talk about the OPA, I am going to want to ask Mike some questions and kind of interact with him about the dynamic of having both. And look, just like anything else, folks, there's going to be pluses and minuses. I guarantee it already. That's humanity, that's social media, that's 2021, and that's archers. So there's going to be, it's always a double-edged sword. But let's talk about OPA. Now, last year when we were there, I said it, and I'll say it again right now. I think what the OPA and BowFest did with how they set up these courses, being compact, concrete pads with 4 shooting stakes. You shoot 4 you shoot 4 at a time, like an NFAA fan. If you've shot NFAA, it's like a fan. Was something that I think every other range, facility, shoot in this country, if not the world, needs to pay attention to. You don't need 100 acres to put on some of these events, and you guys proved that with some thoughtfulness and some strategic planning and setting up courses right to utilize terrain, look, folks, and I know everyone that does a competitive side is like, oh, those pros are holding us up. I had to wait on pros. It's usually never, ever pros, folks. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you. It's usually never pros. These folks last year were getting done shooting their OPA rounds in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think our average our average after 10 groups was an hour and 48 minutes, and that was an average across the board,
Right.
Which is just insane.
That's
now a lot of people didn't. I heard it from two different people. Some people didn't like it. They were like, "It's too fast." Brandon Reyes,
right.
He told me, "Man, I couldn't. I'm a 3D archer. It's one target at a time. I couldn't catch up thinking, what was next when you shoot 5 targets to a pad. But nobody's rushing you. I mean, take your time."
Sure.
And Levi himself said the exact same thing. But knowing Brandon and Levi, same strategy on winning and shooting every tournament. They both think the same, one target at a time. Oh, I shot a 5. Next one, 12. Next one, 12.
Right.
The first target's already behind them.
Sure.
So they're consistently thinking of their game plan. Well, yes, it's a little bit more fast paced. So.
Right. Well, and I'm not sure, and I'm looking at the rules right now, and I don't see anything, but they're not on a clock, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So it's pretty much just like golf. It's just a perceived rate of play. If there's not 4 groups behind you waiting, take all the time you want. If there's 4 groups behind you waiting, probably need to pick it up. I mean, it's just more of a common sense, right?
And respect of wealth. Like don't sit there and just 12 o'clock. It says the wind's going to die down, so that just doesn't make any sense. If I feel that it's unnecessary, then obviously I would pull that that card. But
right,
I never would. I want to. I want people to shoot their best, come here to win, and yeah.
So last year you guys had a couple ranges. Now, did you guys end up putting in a third OPA course for amateurs?
No, we have the same. We have the exact same 2 ranges. So what we will do is the amateurs will be on one course and the pros will be on one course, because we did add 20 targets to the amateurs. So the amateurs aren't shooting 20 targets anymore. It's 40.
Oh, nice.
So they're shooting Friday and Saturday as well.
Okay, so they're shooting 20 each day, just like the pros.
Yep.
Nice.
And then they'll switch.
Okay, Gotcha. Well, and I think that's a educated decision. I mean that totally makes sense. And the amateurs also are involved in the shoot off, correct?
Yeah, which is huge for the amateurs. If you didn't watch the amateur shoot off first, you missed out, because honestly, out of the entire thing, besides my announcement of Kyle winning last year before I knew exactly who won,
right?
The amateur shooting was my highlight, and it was because it was good. It was, and there was a lot of drama in it, and all the archers that were in there are very good. So yeah, I liked it. So yes, they're in the shoot off this year again, and which the shoot off has changed as well.
Correct. That's coming. That's coming. So let's just, for those wondering, first of all, yes, you should come to this event. I'm just going to put it like that.
Period.
It is. Yes, it's a competitive event, and it's a premier event. It's not just a premier event in payout, but it is a premier event in the experience. I would like to see more and more people from around the country come shoot these OPA courses simply because of the setup. I think that planting those seeds in as many archers as possible is going to help archery. Let's take, take somebody from the state of Washington or wherever it may be. If they come shoot the OPA courses and they see how those are laid out, and they go home to their home course, when it comes time to lay out courses, those seeds can grow, and then help those facilities have smaller, more compact, more manageable, less labor-intensive courses. So for that, I think it's important. But let's talk about the actual outline of the shoot itself. Talk a little bit about, obviously we know it's 20 targets a day, but talk a little bit about scoring, and then we'll just kind of, go down some of the basics: shortest shot, longest shot, scoring, speed restrictions, arrow restrictions, all the basic stuff that we don't really ever think about, but someone who might be coming to the event who's not familiar, just to give them a little bit of foundation on how this shoot is regulated.
So the scoring is unique, and Levi being a 3D guy the way he is, and he doesn't like the fact of, obviously IBO he's very good at. He doesn't, if you shot a 5, you would have to shoot 6 more targets to be back to even. So and you only shoot 20 a day, so that you're shooting half of your targets to come back to even. So he doesn't like that fact, which I don't either. To where you can hit a 14 and someone shoots a 10, well, you're already halfway back to where you were. So the scoring is easy. We have a 14 ring, a 12 ring, a 10, and the rest, 8, 5, 0 for a miss.
Right.
Our longest target, I think last year was in the shoot off. That was 100 yards. Typically, we try to keep it in between that 80 to 50 range. There is some short ones. I think last year we caught everybody off guard with a 11-yarder at 37 degrees.
That was awesome.
Downhill, which a lot of people missed that target.
I know. It was awesome. I was standing there for it. Guys were, guys come walk around the corner all full of confidence, and they come up to what literally is a dink target, but it literally just comes down to your preparation. Like, it's preparation.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. So I would say our average last year was right around the 45 to 50 yard was our average. But yeah, so they can expect to see some long ones, some difficult targets. When you climb up to that first pad on course A, you're looking down like, whoa, that's some serious stuff.
Right. Absolutely. And so what if any, I mean, I know it's out to 100 yards, so as far as arrows go, you would expect everybody to be shooting their X10s or Pierces or whatever Black Eagle's smallest arrow is. But from an arrow restriction size, do you have any, or is it just the typical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That would be 2315.
Okay, so 23. Okay, yeah. So
that's the biggest. What is the gold tip?
9.3.
9.3.
Yeah. So
that's the biggest shaft you can use.
Okay. And then speed limits. Are you guys following any other organizations, or did you guys come up with your own thing, or what do you got?
Let me see. I'm gonna make sure I say this right. Someone just asked me about this. Sorry, I'm looking it up. I do not want to mistake and someone hold me accountable for it.
I have it right here if you want me to.
Is it 290?
It's 299, and so
299. Yeah. And no leniency whatsoever. I don't want to see 300.
That's exactly what it says. To be clear, 299 is legal and 300 is disqualified. So basically, you guys are capping speeds at 299, 23 diameter arrows. And then it also says that you guys are backing down the letdown rule from what the NFAA generally does, and you guys are going with 2 letdowns per arrow.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's, and for a lot of you that listen to the podcast, or if you're a tournament junkie and you go to all these, you're probably like, I already know all this. Cool. We'll see you there, and you will make none of those mistakes. However, this part of the conversation is more based towards people who are thinking about coming, who might not, might be a little bit intimidated by the venue. I mean, if you're a newbie, but you want to come to this because you're either in the area or it sounds appealing, and you get drawn into a group with Levi, Chance, and Jesse, and you're the fourth, there's going to be some intimidation happening there for many reasons. So just making people, giving them the opportunity to be a little bit familiar in their mind with how the shoot takes place is something that I think is important. Now at Mont de Lac, there is a castle on top of the mountain, and then there's a lodge down below. They're probably both called lodges. One's just crazy. Yep. And so explain to folks kind of the lodge up on top is right where folks go from one lift and then get off and head back into the tundra to do the Bowfest ranges. The OPA ranges start on the other side of the top lodge and go downhill. So talk a little bit about, what the top lodge has to offer people during the day or at night versus down at the bottom.
So there is a few bands playing up there. during the week. You can find that on the schedule also. But you can always find food up there. Food and drinks are being served up there all day long. I do not think breakfast is. But last year it was packed up there every night, and it's a good time. That's also where we hold the VIP dinner, which the VIP dinner is a celebrity dinner. You can buy tickets for it online, and a lot of people want to sit and eat with these celebrities, and that's where you can do that. I'm not sure how many tickets we have left, so you'd have to do that quick. But yeah, so the Top Lodge is actually a huge castle,
Right? Literally,
it's a huge house. So it's actually divided into two different things. One is Larry's house, which would be on the left side coming up the lift, and then there is a big like ballroomish where we'll have tables, cocktail tables. You can stand and eat or drink, and then to the right, far right, when you get off the lift, is the bar and restaurant area.
Okay.
And he also has rooms up there as well. Those again get sold out fairly fast.
Right.
But yeah.
So when you say a VIP celebrity dinner,
yeah,
do we know ahead of time who those celebrities will be?
Yeah, they are listed here. Let me look on the page. I'm not good with this on the spot stuff. We have just off the top of my head, we have Michael Waddell. We have Michelle Bachmann and Nicole and Pat Reeve.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we have Tim and Carrie Wells. If you have not met Tim Wells, holy cow.
You're in for a treat. The Slock Master.
Yeah. Hey, you want to have a drink? Absolutely not should be your question or your answer to that question.
Right.
But yeah, so we have a long list of celebrities. I think we have 11 total. Levi, like I said, Michael. We have several people coming. But those tickets usually get sold out right around 2 weeks before.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, folks, I mean, that's the difference that you're going to see, and we'll transition into this conversation in a minute. I want to talk about they've made some improvements and some modifications to the OPA shoot off that I want to get into, but we're starting to kind of break the crust of kind of what I was talking about the other day, and a lot of the things you're hearing that are taking place here that are benefiting the OPA are BoFest things. Because you don't see a lot of this other stuff. You don't see any of it unless you're in Vegas, but Vegas does it every day, so it's not because archery's there. So what you're starting to see is what I'm saying, that the BoFest activities are greatly benefiting or adding more value to the OPA. Now, granted,
for sure, if anyone would see that, and I got to go back to that list just real quick. But because I can't forget my buddy Nate Hosey and Randy Birdsong.
Right.
They got to be the two funniest guys you've ever met. But they'll be there as well. And yeah, if someone didn't see that the value, that's why we transitioned all this. Yes, it's gonna take a little bit to get used to. It's gonna take some work to get people there and build the clientele. I know this.
Right.
It's not the most perfect place to fly into, but there is a Duluth airport that is fairly inexpensive if you buy your ticket way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, absolutely. And so all of these things start adding up to to it being more than just an event, and that's basically what's happening. Like, are you going to? And there's the potential. I mean, to get some of these people at a regular lifestyle event, but it generally just doesn't happen. But in this instance, BoFest and OPA combination has led to a lot more availability and a lot more people being able to come participate in archery in general, regardless of what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty here. Shoot off.
Okay.
Shoot off time. Easy. I'm not throwing. Well, I can't say I'm not going to throw you any more curveballs, Mike, because I don't even know I'm throwing you a curveball until I've done it. So anyway.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I'll just refer back to the website.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about the shoot off this year. Kind of explain to people how that's going to work.
So the shoot off is going to be completely different than what we've ever done, and that's because of the intel that we got from the archers from last year. You know, having 2 extra classes in the shoot off took a very long time. Right. I mean, you were there. It took 2.5 hours to shoot 5 classes. Did I like it? Yeah, I like excitement, but at that same point in time, you lose people's concentration. They say after 11 minutes. So
100%.
You know, and then I agree. Most people get 11 minutes into a video, and if they don't like it, they already made their decision. Right. So, and same thing with the shoot off. You know, like, okay, it's kind of boring. So what we did this year is the top 5 archers in each class will shoot off for first place. What is cool this year is if you were in first going into the shoot off, the worst you can get this year is second. Right. The worst you can get is second. So you're locked in. Right. Which is nice. So starting down at number 5. So say I was number 5 and you were 4. Mm-hmm. You would get to call if I shot first or second. Now it's 1 arrow shoot off closest to the center of the 12. Mm-hmm. These targets will have a pin on them that is exactly the center of the circle. We will know exactly who is the closest archer. It is 1 arrow shoot off. So you get the higher seed gets to call if they get to shoot first. So you say, I want Mike to shoot first. So I'll shoot and then you shoot. We are not pulling arrows. So that is your decision if you want me to put an arrow in there first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
a marker.
Yes. So that's the upper hand that you get by being a higher seed is that choice. And the fact that you don't lose really your spot. You can go down 1 spot and that's the furthest you can go. Right. And if I beat you, then I go to 3rd place. And then if I beat 3rd place, I go to 2nd place. Now, first and 2nd place for first place is best out of 3 arrows.
Sure. Wow.
So they'll have a 3 arrow shoot off first and second. So, now it won't be the same target, so that'll be good.
Right. So this is a shoot up.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
now everyone can identify and watch 1 target at a time. It'll be easy for them to concentrate and watch 1 target specifically.
Right. Well, and that's where everything's headed. For those of you that are not paying attention, it's just, I mean, look, my personal opinion is I think there's plenty of drama in archery, but archers won't let people say what's interesting about what's happening without getting all triggered. But a shoot,
yeah, we're our worst own enemy.
Oh, dude, we could do.
Sorry, I didn't say that.
It's okay. We could do a podcast on that alone. We could do a series of podcasts on that. But the shoot up format, I assume will obviously. I don't assume. You already said it. 1 archer will be shooting at a time. Obviously, you know, Bow Junkie will be able to. We bought this ginormous lens. I call it the Hubble. So we'll have a FS5 with the Hubble on it for close-in arrows. We'll have another one on the archer. We'll pipe both of those. Obviously, those will be integrated into our live feeds. But also, they rent this Magnum. You're renting that giant screen again, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So now there's not a scoreboard, though. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So the shoot up is definitely going to make it a little bit more of an intimate experience. I do like the best 2 out of 3 for first place. That's pretty cool.
Could you imagine the drama on the 3rd arrow if you shot 1 closest center and I shot 1 closest center and that's about to break at the 3rd arrow?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's a lot of tension.
Okay. So here's the logical question because I'm made of questions. So let's say
I already got an answer. I already know what you're going to say.
Yep. You win the first one. I win the second one and we tie on the 3rd. Then what?
Come on. I thought I had an answer for everything.
Well,
trust me, we'll have an extra target out there just for that.
All right.
That would be highly unlikely.
Super unlikely.
You know, and then you're going to hear people say, well, what about if I Robin Hood his arrow? we made the decision that if you robin someone hood's arrow and it sticks in there, then that's what it is. You get that same score.
Yeah, it's a tie.
It'll be another. Yeah. It'll be another shot arrow.
Yeah, if that guy shoots his arrow in the 8 and you Robin Hood it, it's a tie. If he shoots it on that pin in the middle of the 12 and you Robin Hood his arrow, you both did it. So that totally makes sense. Now last year, the thing that I liked is that your guys' shoot-off targets were not chip shots.
No,
you guys put them out there, son, and so the shoot-off arrows were not gimmies. And so as you transition into this, and this is more of a shoot mindset thing from a production standpoint. Let's just be honest. I won't get into a lot of details, but I can tell you that shoot-off distances have been known to be manipulated so people shoot better. So for you guys, as you do this arrow for arrow, closest to center thing, have the distances of your targets been a factor at all?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that the distances have been a factor. Now, I mean, you that 100-yard target. Holy cow, dude!
Right.
I mean, I guess it's catch-22. Some yes, some no. There was some archers that I thought, was that just that person that just shot that?
Right.
I mean, they're not easy. I mean, it's very difficult.
Right. Absolutely. No, and I mean that's part of the gig. And I know a lot of people are like, what does that mean? Well, it means what Mike just said. If you throw an arrow for arrow closest to center out there at 100, that's it's probably not going to be. You're not even going to come close to having any ties. If you throw all the targets out there to super far distance, you already know the person who makes the most decent shot's going to win, because now you have all these other variables. Conversely, if you take Kyle Douglas and Jesse Broadwater and the farthest target 60 and all the rest come in and they end at 20, they most certainly are going to be just pounding it out.
Oh, yeah. That's not even going to be fair. So while we're on that, kind of, we will start the lower seed at the closer targets. As far, as we go up the ladder, the targets will get harder. Yes.
Oh, those guys.
Or I would say longer distances.
Those guys in first and second are. So they have. Okay, so here's another question. Are the guys in first and second that are waiting gonna have to? So basically, they're gonna. The guy in first is literally shooting once, and he has to shoot the farthest, hardest target cold.
Cold turkey.
Damn. All right.
But you get three arrows.
I know, but still, I mean, it's if you're I mean, let's just be honest, it's going to benefit.
He's up there he or she are in number one for a reason.
Oh, exactly. But now we're talking about your Brandon Reyes and your Levi Morgan comparisons. If you're a Jesse Broadwater, Kyle Douglas type rhythm shooter, and you're in first and you got to wait, what, 45 minutes?
No. You're talking
including the other classes, including the other classes, because they're shooting last.
Oh yeah, I would say we get all the classes over in an hour. Yeah. So yeah, but hear me out. Those guys can practice down there at the bags, which you could see it's only 120 yards from.
Okay, that's kind of where I was leading with it. Was
so we'll have a golf cart down there to bring those guys up.
Okay, cool. So I mean, I wasn't disagreeing with that at all. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it definitely adds something unique to the situation. That is for sure. So let's talk about this. And I would like to get your opinion, because you've shot tournaments plenty, so that goes without saying. You've ran the OPA at other locations. That goes without saying. And you ran the OPA at other locations that didn't have lifestyle events there. And so I would like to get your opinion on like I said, I don't know if you listened to the podcast the other day, but I would like to get Mike Pollard's opinion as the guy who runs the OPA on some of what you've seen, what you've learned, some positives and negatives of the experience now that the OPA is at a lifestyle event? Because that, I think, needs to be a conversation that moves, that continues.
I would say there's not specifically a negative. The only negative part about running archery tournaments is getting used to something new. So the only thing I could say is, you go to a new location, you have to figure that out. It takes more than a year to figure those out.
Right.
And the different personalities, and it's a team here at Montauk. So it takes a huge group to get these things organized, and I would say that is the biggest negative part. But it's fun as well, learning, from everyone else and their ideas, and it's not just one person making a decision. That's for sure. Right.
Now, you are most certainly the pivot man at the OPA for all complaints. You are, yep. you live as the pivot man in that. And so talk a little bit about the differences, if any, because look, archers have opinions and complaints, and that's fine. But going from your experience as a shooter when you complained to the OPA when archers were complaining to you about normal archery stuff, to now that you've had a couple years under your belt with Bowfest, kind of has the lifestyle event being integrated, or the OPA being integrated with the lifestyle event, however you want to think about it, has that changed any of your perceived customer experience or feedback?
That's a loaded question. Well, I mean, I could go so many different ways with that question, but I mean, yeah, I'm the pivot man. I hear from the littlest things to the biggest things, and the biggest things are the dumbest things that you can imagine, but I hear it all of it.
Right.
And it's not like life-threatening stuff, but no, I mean, people like I would say the overall feel of changing the location and adding, or the lifestyle event, adding us. People like it. I mean, it's thousands of more people.
Right.
Obviously, I think we're expecting around 10,000 people to come through the gates in 3 days of this entire event. So it's a lot more people. I think it's very well organized. But yeah, going back to the complaints, just of the general, last year was the least amount that I got.
Right. And so how have you either modified or integrated having access to the lifestyle event amenities, whether it's the added features of the booths? Because let's be honest, a lot of the booths that were at the OPA last year, those booths don't go to normal events; they go to lifestyle events. That's just what it is. So when you're planning and you're strategically laying out the OPA, how have you personally integrated some of those additional activities, some of the benefits of being associated with a lifestyle event into your OPA planning?
I mean, it's a lot different because I guess it just happens. It's not like I can, I plan around the lifestyle event and I use its benefits because there's a lot more people. There's a lot more things to do. Mm-hmm. And as far as the vendors, a lot of those vendors. So this year we sold 104 vendor spots.
Nice.
So it's down in that, the big, now that's 104 10 by 10. So that's a lot. Yeah, that is a ton. But going back to the integration, the benefits, reaping the benefits of the lifestyle event, I would say everyone it's a camaraderie thing. That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, I'm an archer, I'm a hunter, and you get both of it.
Right.
You get the competitive side, you get I'm just here to shoot a few arrows and then have a cold one and then go watch the concert.
Right.
No, this event is a one-off event. There's nothing like it period. Not anything I've ever heard
Right.
that is like this with the celebrities, the concerts, the food, the amenities. If you want something in anything in hunting and outdoors, you'll find it here.
No question. No question. So after his wallet emptying, heartbreaking defeat in the axe throw last year, do you think Tim Gillingham will redeem himself this year?
Oh gosh, I got to find out if we're doing that. But even if not, even if we did or didn't, darn well Tim would complain.
Well, so
he either lost, even if he won, he'd complain about it.
So, well, that's probably not wrong. So for those of you wondering, they have a vendor that comes and you throw the axes. Well, Tim, I 150, because if you won, you got like $1,000. And so
yeah, it was $1,000.
Yeah, Tim spent like $100 throwing axes until he got the best score he possibly could, and he thought he was in it to win it. And I don't know if it was Curtis Broadnax or somebody else came in, cold turkey, never done it before, and just rolled him. And so he didn't end up winning, but obviously Tim will compete and gamble on himself in anything it is, whether it's throwing axes or shooting his bow. But, hey, man, I really appreciate you spending the time with us today, Mike. Let folks know where they can go to get more information, get registered, et cetera, for the 2021 Bow Fest and OPA.
Bowfest.com, and you'll see a drop-down arrow, and you'll see the OPA is on that same website.
Bam. There you go. Well, all right, man. I really appreciate it. You got anything else for us today, brother?
No, I appreciate you giving me a call and us doing this podcast, because it does a lot of help for everyone.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you next month. For those of you Bow Junkie fans out there, we hit the road pretty hard here this next month. Can't say I'm a super big fan of having to do it, but thanks to the Rona, this is just basically what we got to do. So Kathy and I actually leave on Thursday, going to the IBO, the Triple Crown. Excited to see how that turns out. And then we're actually going straight from the IBO to Yankton, because coming home for one day just ain't going to get her. Then home for a couple days, and then we're off to Wisconsin for the OPA. So it is, then we're back for like a week, and then we go to IBO World. So we got a good run here to end things. I'm super excited to see how these events finish up the year. I know that everybody. First of all, I want to say that I'm super proud of all the archers out there that have shown back up for these events in 2021, from the Rushmore Rumble, the first one, to IBO Worlds, which will be the last one. I am super proud of all the archers that put their money where their mouth is. They got in their trucks. They paid the gas prices. They did everything they needed to do to support our sport, because it's nobody else's sport but ours. We're the only ones that support it. Too. What's that?
I said the sponsors too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
we couldn't have done it without them.
That's a fact. And so all of the archers that showed back up, because look, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of hate and discontent, there was a lot of people worrying or transitioning to golf or fishing or doing anything else besides archery. We have lost some archers, but all of you that came back and did it, followed all the rules, jumped through all the hoops, had your rights violated, et cetera, y'all came back and you made this sport survive. Period. That's all there is to it. Because if you wouldn't have come back, if the Rushmore Rumble would have had 110 people, that would have been an omen for what archery was going to look like this year. Instead, like 800 of y'all showed up. So y'all some freaks, and I love you. And as far as the sponsors go, like Mike said, look, you want to talk about ride or die. I mean, you want to talk about, literally putting yourself out there regardless to make sure that this thing keeps moving. Look at the sponsors list. Look at the sponsors list from the Rushmore Rumble to every ASA, to every IBO, to every NFAA, to the OPA. Look at those sponsors. All the IBO shoots, Triple Crowns, Worlds, all of it. Look at those sponsors and then look at the mirror. And that's how this thing survived. Folks like me and Mike, we do what we do. We try to do what we do, and we do the best we can. But without the sponsors and you shooters actually doing what you say you're going to do and putting your money where your mouth is, none of this would have mattered. So that's going to be it for today, folks. Obviously, there's going to be another little gap in podcast because I ain't here for like a month. But anyway, we're going to keep rolling these things out. I am going to be on the Kafaru cast with Aaron for part 2 of our lifestyle versus competitive archery event discussion. So not sure when that'll be, but I can do that anywhere. So definitely head over to the Bow Life OPA website, get registered for that. It is an absolutely fantastic event. And one of the things that we mentioned, but I didn't really hit on, was the fact that, yes, their average shoot time's like an hour and 45 minutes. And because it's a lifestyle event, you see archers hanging out more than you might normally. And so something to keep in mind. You can come there and shoot everything. But stay involved, get involved. We look forward to seeing everybody at Mont de Lac, and we're just going to come do the thing. So that's going to be the podcast today. Hope everybody had a great, great Independence Day, and I hope all y'all remembered how that happened. All right, everybody. Love, peace, and chicken grease.